was really funny. We mentioned it when her like top came off and she finally got covered by like a towel. The fans.
Yeah, well, you knew that was going to happen.
The ECW fans, man, they were crazy.
Exactly.
I kept getting distracted by that stupid thing Candido was wearing on his head.
Oh yeah, well he that was because he had the surgically repaired ear.
Okay.
So that was part of the deal. It looked like he was trying to be Rick Steiner.
I know. I was like, what the hell is he wearing? Like I was like,
yeah. Then we'd have Joey Styles get word that they're going to show footage from earlier in the day. What that footage was a fight from before the show between New Jack and Jack Victory. This is pretty wild.
Yeah, you know what they did? It was like gang war. They fucking just attacked him.
Yeah. Because originally on the show, there was supposed to be a match between New Jack and Jack Victory. It was supposed to be a weapons match. But I guess as a result of that match was no longer going to happen. So we were supposed to, I guess, have 7 matches going in the card. Now we'd have 6. But, I guess that is what it is. Then we'd have the ECW World Tag Team Champions Rob Van Dam and Sabu with Bill Alfonso in the back for a promo. RVD would refer to himself as 3/4 of the Tag Team Champions. He'd also be a double champion at this time. So I guess they're having double champions even back in 98, not just 2020.
Well, RVD, I mean, he was... is this the reign where he held it for like 700 days?
Well, he had it for like nearly 2 years. 23 months. I think this might be the beginning of it.
Okay. Because I knew it wasn't... yeah. And he only lost it because he got hurt, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Well, he was the face of that company. So.
No, I think he's the best star to come out of there.
For sure, yeah.
Because there's other guys who were there in the company who you could say were better because they went on to do other things. But some of those guys that I'm alluding to also went on to be in WCW, and then they went on to WWE.
Yeah,
like Jericho and you said Little Guido.
Yeah, Jericho, RVD, Rey Mysterio, Little Guido.
Yeah, but yeah, RVD is of all the ECW stars of the past, he's by far my favorite. RVD is one of my favorite wrestlers in general of all time.
Yeah, he's awesome. One of the greatest.
But this is also during his heel phase too, which I still think a lot of people forget because when he was in WWE, he was like a face for basically the whole entire time. So I think a lot of people forgot about it.
He was one of a kind.
Yeah. He was.
All right. What do we have next on the pier?
So we'd have next Mike Awesome versus Masato Tanaka.
This was really good.
Yes,
the way these two used to just beat the shit out of each other was crazy.
Yes, these two had quite the series of matches back in the day, and this one was no exception. But they just had such a cool dynamic. Like you got Tanaka, who was noted by, it was either Styles or Douglas, I can't remember who said it, but you have him where he can just absorb all this punishment in like a match and just finds a way to battle back. Like here in this one, like Mike Awesome would hit Tanaka with an awesome bomb and then an awesome splash from the top, he'd kick out. Then he'd hit him with the chair across the head a couple times and he just wouldn't give up and he'd get back up. Then you have Mike Awesome, who is just so talented. He's a big guy who can be powerful and he's very agile in the ring. And their matches were just brutal. Like some of the chair shots, even in this one, like I remember there was that one chair shot from Tanaka where he went all the way back, or I think it was from. Here it. Okay, now I got it. I was trying to remember how it went. So there was the one chair shot from Tanaka where he went all the way back up to the top of the ramp and he just charged to Mike Awesome and just nailed him in the head with it. And then there's the one where Awesome came from off the top and they hit Tanaka in the head with the chair. And then there was another part that definitely sticks out to me. This was really brutal. It was when Tanaka had powerbombed Mike Awesome to the outside of the ring through the table, and he just landed right on his head on the concrete floor.
Yeah, that move literally made me cringe.
Yeah, because it was just such a nasty landing. Like the chair shot to the head, I mean, some of those are like brutal enough, but I mean, that to me was like the worst of them all.
It just shows, like, ECW, like, it's just crazy. shit that they used to do.
They didn't give a shit at all.
I know.
Well,
I think it's like I heard Kevin Nash saying in his shoot. He's like, they didn't really consider it wrestling, but he said you still couldn't like not watch.
Yeah. Well,
because he said that you still want to come home and see somebody hit somebody with a frying pan.
Exactly. Well, that, and I think the other thing is it's just like, I think it was like a thing around the locker room that like basically like nobody puts their hands up when they take chair shots.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, even after that, I mean, Tanaka would cover him when he'd get him back in the ring after that power bomb to the outside, and he'd still kick out. And then for the finish, Masato Tanaka would hit Mike Awesome with the Tornado DDT on top of the two steel chairs where he'd pin him from there and win the match. So the winner of this would be Masato Tanaka. 4 stars for both of us.
Yeah, this was match of the night for me.
Yeah, it was for me too. Then after the match, we'd have a Taz interview. Those are always great. He'd say to Bam Bam that he's going to tap out to the FTW World Heavyweight Champion, the only champion on pay-per-view that means anything in this business. Not Austin, not Goldberg, especially not that punk Mike Tyson. He then point out that Bam Bam does have a pinfall victory over him, but he's going to be taking that back. He's going to be taking that victory back, and he knows that Bam Bam is going to kick his ass in the process, but that's what he likes the best. Then he finished off with this famous, "Beat me if you can, Bigelow, survive if I let you." Then we come back with Shane Douglas and Joey Styles, where Shane Douglas would say that the only real world title was the ECW World Heavyweight title. Then they cut to Joe Gertner's sign guy, Jeff Jones, and the rest of the Dudleys. They'd be in the back doing their thing.
Yep.
Then after that, I don't remember much of what they said for that one. That's why I'm moving on.
It wasn't like it wasn't great. It was okay.
Because I know they said something, but I just, unfortunately.
Who cares?
And moving on, I guess. Next, we'd have the ECW World Tag Team Championship match. It'd be Rob Van Dam and Sabu with Bill Alfonso in their corner against Hayabusa and Jinsei Shinzaki. Jinsei Shinzaki, known by WWF fans at the time as Hakushi.
Yep.
Well,
Can I say,
I actually remember in the Rob Van Dam Sabu thing from earlier, Rob Van Dam would say his name, but he'd sneeze as he said it because of the copyright.
Mm-hmm. Can I say this? The tattoos are so freaking cool looking.
Yeah, I know.
Like he looks like a badass.
No, he had a very unique look, actually.
He did it. Like it surprises me that he wasn't pushed in a company he went to because he's so unique. Like,
yeah, I know. There were some good spots in this one. Like there was the Van Damme spot with Alfonso holding the chair. I thought this was fine. It was a bit lengthy, and there wasn't like a ton of psychology in it. But and it's a completely different style, and I enjoy the ECW product a ton. I don't always love every single ECW tag team match. Like I like some of them are actually like highly entertaining. I do enjoy like my fair share of them, but I mean, like I don't know. It's just like they start out, where you make the tags and stuff. It's like a tag team match, and it just breaks off and like whatever. But once again, as I said, it's a completely different style. So it's just the things you got to accept in order to enjoy ECW. But what are you gonna do? In the end, Sabu and Van Dam would hit their double leg drop finisher from the top on the opposite corners. I do love that. They'd hit that, and then from both corners of the ring on both Shinzaki and Hayabusa through the tables. And then they'd pin, and then they get the pin for the W and retain the tag team titles. Despite my critiques of this, it's still a thumbs up for me, and so far the show's overall been pretty good for me at this point.
This match itself, like I think you said, was a little bit lengthy.
Yeah, they got 20 minutes, 51 seconds.
Yeah, I think that was too long. I mean, they did some good stuff, but to be honest with you, going into this, I was kind of disappointed by this.
Yeah, because Van Dam and Sabu were a pretty fun tag team.
They were. especially with Alfonso.
Yeah.
Who's just crazy.
Yeah, he's always blowing that damn whistle.
I'm not gonna lie, I understand him being a heel because that pisses me off.
Well, remember Joey Styles and this is like, I hope he chokes on that damn whistle.
You know what I mean? Well, it's so aggravating. Like, it's weird. It gets you mad. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Because I remember, like, the first, like, beginning part of this match, we wouldn't stop.
I know, I remember I'm like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, so, yeah, Rob Van Dam and Sabu would retain the titles. 3-star rating on that one.
Really?
Yeah. I gave it a 3.
Interesting. That's interesting.
You know, it's like, as I said, I thought it was good, but...
What did I give it?
You were a bit higher on that one. I have 3.5 for you.
Yeah, it underachieved, but I still liked it. I'm surprised you didn't like it as much as I did.
Well, I gave it a 3 just because, once again, it came down to, like, it was just a little lengthy and, you know, it was kind of all over the place.
Yeah, I get that.
That was just more so for me. But there's still so many good spots, and, like, there's, like, still, like, some, like, plenty of good stuff in this to where it ain't got a good rating for me. I've seen other reviews going through this, you know, just to look at other people's opinions, and I've seen people rate this one even lower than that, so I think...
Sabu is fucking insane.
Yeah.
He is so crazy. It's you look at his body with the cuts all over it and stuff. And
he's got the scars.
He just looks like a crazy person.
I know. Then after that, we would have the FTW Heavyweight Championship Falls Count Anywhere match. It would be Taz defending against Bam Bam Bigelow. Before the match, we'd have a video package, which really, it was pretty much like a highlight reel of everything that had happened leading up to this point, and it was narrated by Paul Heyman.
Or Paulie at this point.
Yeah, or Paulie Dangerously.
Mm-hmm.
Then both guys would make their entrances. It sucks we couldn't hear Bam Bam's theme song, but we did in fact hear Taz's legendary theme. God, it's so awesome.
Survive if I let you.
Like, every single time you hear that, it's like, you know, things are going to get real.
It's so cool, dude. The pop you hear from it, too.
And the Taz character is easily one of Paul Heyman's greatest creations. But we would have the championship introductions. Keep in mind, this is the FTW title. It's an unrecognized championship, but it is the match is for that, and Taz is defending it. It's not recognized as an actual heavyweight title. But hey, the FTW title, it's back now in AEW, and Brian Cage now holds on to it as a side note.
Yeah, I know. Crazy that, you know, we're seeing it now, and we didn't plan that. It just landed that way, that the FTW title started being in AEW like 2 weeks ago, and now we're watching the show where it's being defended by Taz.
I know, because I remember going into the show when I was like in the...
I'm honestly surprised that they can do that.
Yeah, because WWE, I just said it so quick. I just say, you know, it's WWE, like, you know, not WWE. I say WWE.
WCW.
But, yeah, because they own, like, a lot of those, they own, like, the rights.
They own ECW. They own the Dudley Boy name. They own a bunch of stuff. I'm surprised that...
Yeah, it's interesting how they can actually use the FTW championship. Maybe they somehow don't own that. Maybe Taz actually owns that. I don't know. Maybe he does. I don't know.
Well, Taz owns his name, so maybe.
True. That is true. Although in WWE they spell it differently. They put 2 Z's at the end, which I guess it's the right way of spelling it, but he's T-A-Z Taz in the ECW. So to start the match, Bam Bam would powerbomb Taz, in which Taz would no-sell and flip him off. Then the match would be off. The fight would go into the crowd as expected, with this being a Falls Count Anywhere match. Then later, back in the ring, Bam Bam would powerbomb Taz and then go to the outside to grab a table. Then back in the ring, Bam Bam would send Taz into the table placed in the corner. Taz would also now be busted open. Then Bam Bam would look to Irish whip Taz into the broken remains of the table, but Taz would counter and fight back. And then Taz would hit Bam Bam with a T-bone suplex through the broken table. And then after that, a little later up in the entranceway, Bam Bam was going to hit Taz with the T-bone into the crowd, but Taz would counter with a tornado DDT, sending both him and Bam Bam through the entrance ramp.
Insane.
After a couple of minutes, Bam Bam would